Before starting this video, I do want to give a thank you to my patrons that support the channel. And if you would like to support the channel, there are some great benefits for you in the link down below. So with that, let's get into today's video. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Devin coming back at you with another video today on Pub Stomp MTG. So this video, I'm going to go over the new Secretversary 2023 Super Drop, and this one I'm more excited compared to other previous Secret Drops, and so today I wanted to focus and touch on some of the Secret Drops that I'm personally excited for, and touch on some of the other ones because I know there's a lot of them to go over. And to kind of give you a preface of this video is I'm not really going to talk about financial values of this specifically. And so for me personally, it's not more of a financial thing, it's more of the cards and if I like them or not. And so that's what I'm going off with a lot of these different art styles and opinions and everything. So let's get into it. Let's first talk about our first secret lair. So of course I did want to mention the Lara Croft Tomb Raider secret lair. I did touch on this recently, so I'm not going to go over it completely. We do have a mechanically unique Lara Croft, and that you have also some other cards like Search for Ascanta reskin, Ascanta the Sunken Ruins reskin, Anger of the Gods, Boa Nylea, and also some other ones like Shadow Spear, Academy Ruins, and also a treasure token. Again, I did make a video about this talking about each secret lair, so if you do want to go check that out above the video, you totally can. But I will talk about what I am most excited for, and of course Jurassic Park and Jurassic World are within this secret lair, and there's a lot of cool art treatments that I do want to discuss with you. So first up, we do have the Tyrannosaurus Rex looking like she's escaping that park essentially and flipping over the car, and so this is one of my favorite and honestly one of the most iconic scenes from cinema, period, at least in my opinion, and they absolutely do it justice in this art. It looks absolutely incredible, and the only thing I'm really kind of confused on is they have Atali Primal Storm as the card for the reskin for the Tyrannosaurus Rex when we do have the Spinosaurus in the set too, but I think it's more for flavor reasons because obviously with a T-Rex it's flipping over a car, and Atali Primal Storm is essentially flipping over people's decks so that you can flip into a big giant thing. So I'm not too upset. I mean, I'm kind of glad this is a legendary creature so that I can possibly rebuild my Atali Primal Storm deck because I love that deck a lot, just stealing people's spells, and what better art to use than the Tyrannosaurus. Also, I do want to note the border just looks very awesome, having that Jurassic Park Jeep look, and on top of that, it just looks very retro, having the Isla Nublar logo on the bottom where it's a 6/6. I just think it's really cool. This is one of my favorite art pieces that Wizards have done in a long time. So next up, we do have the Velociraptor, or also well known as the Rampaging Ferocidon. So this is honestly one of my favorite arts. I mean, I know I'm going to be saying that about a lot of these different arts that are coming up, but this one is really cool because obviously it's referencing when the Velociraptors are hunting down the children in the kitchen over at the Jurassic Park original movie. And this one is very cool because I don't know if you ridden the Jurassic Park ride before it got transformed into Jurassic World ride over at Universal Studios Hollywood, but there's a lot of different signs, for example, like warning, acid out of containment kind of thing. And so this kind of exemplifies that with like the warning tape. And also has that menace warning and players can't gain life, and it's a 3/3. And so honestly, I like how they represented that in this art here too. And honestly, one of the scariest, at least in my opinion, one of the scariest things that I've ever seen in movies when I was growing up was this scene. I was basically putting myself in those kids' shoes, and I was like, how am I going to escape the Velociraptors this time after watching it like 500 times? But obviously, this is one of the classic movie scenes, and honestly, it looks really good. But we don't just have old dinosaurs, we also do have new dinosaurs like the Indominus Rex. So they went with more of a futuristic look, looking more like the Jurassic World style with the DNA sequencing with a creature dinosaur, and also having the power toughness of 5/5. And honestly, I feel like I need to get multiple copies of this because obviously it's going to become the Polyraptor, and so I hope they kind of make like a Polyraptor token out of this. That would be very cool. I mean, I will say the blue coloring, making it a green creature is kind of interesting. Maybe adding a little bit of green would have made sense, but blue with the green kind of throws me off a little bit. But aside from that, very cool art. So next up, we do have the Triceratops, or otherwise known as the Wayward Sawtooth. So this is a pretty interesting one. I don't know why they reskinned it as the Wayward Sawtooth, even though it's like a meat-eating dinosaur, but I don't know, I'm just going to go with it. But this is a really cool one. I do like how it has like the different border styles with like the Dilophosaurus, Brontodon, Gallimimus, and also the Triceratops skull underneath on top of that logo piece. And so this looks very cool. I do like the art. I don't know if I like it more than the other ones because I'm more of a carnivore fan, at least in my opinion. But let's move on. Let's talk about next the Spinosaurus. And this is what a lot of people on Reddit are already talking about is like, why is the Spinosaurus Regisaur Alpha when Regisaur Alpha is clearly a T-Rex? And vice versa, why is a Primal Storm the Tyrannosaurus Rex when we do have the Spinosaurus here? I get it. I understand. I don't really understand why they did this one specifically with it. It would have been better if they put a Tolly with it, but again, I'm not going to complain too much because we are getting these arts in here, and I love basically the Jurassic Park 3 logo with the Spinosaurus. It just looks like the DVD, and honestly, that looks very cool. And again, I like it, but again, I wish they put a different dinosaur on here, at least in my opinion. But overall, I have to say this is definitely a buy for me just because I'm a big Jurassic Park fan and a lot of these arts are nostalgic and also very incredible, especially the Tyrannosaurus one. One of my favorite scenes of all time was the Tyrannosaurus breaking out, and so this was a very iconic scene that I'm going to get multiple copies of for sure. But hold on to your butts, we also do have an Ian Malcolm exclusive secret lair with all just Ian Malcolm on it. I never thought in a million years I'd see it, but here we are today, and we do have Dr. Ian Malcolm as Atla Palani Nest Tender, and I understand why they did that because obviously Atla Palani are kind of being chaotic in a sense where you don't know what dinosaur you're going to be stumbling upon when you have an egg die. And so I do like this concept, especially Ian Malcolm, like basically challenging a lot of different people in the park saying, why are you doing this? Dinosaurs had their chance essentially. And so this is a very cool and honestly very awesome art too. So I'm excited for this one. So next up we do have Chaotic Chaotician. So this is Laboratory Maniac reskin. And so this is just a staple. I mean, it kind of got overshadowed by Thassa's Oracle, but this is a great win con nonetheless in Commander. But I do love the flavor text of how he was making fun of Hammond about no dinosaurs showing up on the tour. So this is just a fun reference that I do like. But this is also another fun reskin with Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So obviously the flavor text kind of says it all. I'm not even going to try to reproduce what Ian Malcolm said or how he laughed. It was just a funny scene overall. But this is another funny one, just kind of throwing people off, basically throwing off their decks. But of course, Wizards did it. They absolutely nailed it. They have Ian Malcolm. They have him shirtless. That was one thing I was hoping to see, and I wasn't expecting it because we already had two Ian Malcolm cards. That one that came out of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and Atla Palani that was spoiled early on. So my hopes were kind of diminished not to see Ian Malcolm shirtless, and here he is. The one thing that I do like about this is it is Tasker the Golden Fang, and I don't know if you've seen the Tasker art. He is also shirtless, kind of in the same exact pose. But I'll be quite honest, if there's anybody that I would be afraid of somebody taking my wife away from me, it would be Ian Malcolm with his charm, and obviously just look at him. The art looks very fantastic, and it's one secret lair I'm definitely planning on getting. So we're going to move on. Let's talk about Tales of the Time Stopper. So this one is focusing on extra turns, it looks like. So for example, we do have Beacon of Tomorrows, just taking an extra turn. Also, we do have Nexus of Fate, a classic one that could go back into your library. Then there's also Time Reversal, and so this one's an interesting one. It's more of like a wheel, but it's okay because it's 5 mana, so it's not like the greatest thing ever. Then we do also have Time Stop, so this is 6 mana just to end the turn at instant speed. That's really it. Aside from that, this one does look pretty interesting with the different art choices. I could hardly read that instant speed one though, so honestly, that's the only thing that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, cool arts, by the way, but it's just hard to read. But next up, we do have the Mycosynth Wave. So this one's a very interesting one. Very interesting looking art. It looks like early 2000s concept art in general. Just different things. I don't know why, but it's not really jiving with me too much. The Mycosynth Golem is a big reprint, though, I would say. I know it shot up like crazy with Brothers War, but it's a good one, especially if you have a lot of artifacts in your deck because they have affinity. Then we also do have the Mycosynth Lattice, a very scary card, especially when you're coming up against a Karn the Great Creator. So this one's a good reprint too. Then we do have the Mycosynth Wellspring, which is just an okay card. It's just there. I think the real value is in the other two cards. I wish they kind of added more art pieces in this set aside for just 3 cards total. Again, I'm not a big fan of the art. I mean, I will say what I do like about it is the futuristic look. I want to say it looks like a secret layer previously with the basic lands with those suns in the background, at least in the Mycosynth Wellsprings. So the next one I am going to talk about is Through the Wormhole. This is basically just a classic list of just a bunch of staples that you would play in a Commander game. For example, we do have Arcane Signet. We also do have Lightning Greaves, as well as Soul Ring, Thought Vessel, and also Command Tower. So I do like this. I do think this is cool art. I mean, I will say the Galaxy foil is $50, and that might be a little too expensive just for these staples. But again, I feel like if you're justifying a lot of these different staples, they might hold better than just regular cards. But I like it. I don't think it's too crazy. I know people like to bling out their decks, and this is a good way to, especially getting all these staples in one package. But next up, we do have the Showcase, The Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So this one's an interesting one because it's classic commanders from previous Ixalan sets. So Captain Lannery Storm is a good one for your pirate decks. We do also have Admiral Beckett Brass. Alinda the Dusk Rose looks excellent in this one. I would say this is probably the coolest looking one and probably the one that holds the most value in this secret lair. I'm not 100% sure. Kamina, Tyrant of Araska, is also pretty excellent. I love that art where he just has that red glowing eyes. Looks like he could just smite you in just one swing. Then lastly, we do have Vona, Butcher of Magan. And this one, the face, I don't know. The face just looks so weird to me. I'm sorry. It just has that weird smile and like the grin. It's just, I don't know. For me, it just looks kind of weird. But overall, these are pretty good Commander staples in general. This one doesn't hold a lot of value. Again, I'm not going to talk about value too much, but I do talk about it a little bit in a sense of like what you are getting. Alinda's definitely probably carrying it the most. But let's move on and let's talk about the basic snow lands. So they did a lot of basic lands in previous secret lairs, and this is no exception. This one I am probably going to skip because I'm not a big, I mean, I like the art, but it's not enough for me to justify getting lands. This is the one thing I probably refuse to do in any secret lair is just get the lands. I mean, I know a lot of people like them for their different art styles. This one looks majestic with a snow-covered island. I do like this one with the snow-covered swamp with the cow there. The mountain goat looks pretty cool. I will say I do like the mountain goat. And the fox running through the forest looks pretty cool. I mean, again, I like these, but not to justify the price of $40 or $30 to $40, depending on if you get a foil or not. I mean, I used to buy them, like I used to got the pixelated Snowlands, but then I just kind of stopped after that because it's not worth justifying, at least for me, spending that much money on basic lands when I could get these other cool lands basically for a lot cheaper. And lastly, we do have the gift wrapped foil edition. So this one's a very interesting one, obviously referencing Christmas and gift wrapping. And so let's see some of the arts. So we do have Giver of Runes with this creepy smile that I probably will see in my nightmares, but this is a good reprint, giving protection to your creatures are very good. Distant Melody is pretty cool looking too. I mean, I think it's better obviously in those creature specific focus decks. Like I feel like this would probably do very well with fairies specifically because if you do have a lot of fairies on the battlefield, the more cards you will draw. Cathartic Reunion is not a good reprint. I mean, it's like a 50-cent card. So I mean, I know they do put some chaff in a lot of secret layers, but I'm not really feeling this one specifically. They do have Moment's Peace, just another fog effect with flashback. Well, they do have Homeward Path, but I will be honest, if they didn't reprint that in the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth set, I feel like this would have been a better reprint. But aside from that, I don't know. It's not my personal favorite. I mean, again, with all these secret layers, I don't want to be knocking down on them too much because I know a lot of people will be excited about some other different ones. For example, me, I'm very excited for the Jurassic World one. But the other ones, I'm not really too keen on. Also, you will receive a Locust God different treatment if you spend $200 or more. I'm probably not going to spend $200 or more on this. I'm just being quite honest. I don't know if I like a lot of these things besides obviously the Jurassic Park stuff. So the ones I do plan on probably buying is Welcome Jurassic World bundle, mainly because I want multiple copies of these things and I feel like this is a good deal. I'm definitely going to be hanging up these ones for sure on my wall because I love the art. It's absolutely incredible. One that I definitely want to showcase. But I definitely do like the Ian Malcolm exclusive secret lair with Ian Malcolm as Tassiger. I think that's a very good flavorful win, and honestly one that I might build myself and might even build for the channel. Let me know down below in the comments if you want me to build Tassiger at least with the Ian Malcolm reskin. But to be honest, that's really the one that I'm probably going to be buying. I might buy, honestly, the Commander Staples Galaxy foil. I mean, it's more preference. I feel like personally that one looks very interesting for me. I know it's $50 and that's kind of ridiculous just for a bunch of like what $1 to $2 things besides Lightning Greaves. But I will say art is subjective and I do like this one specifically. But aside from that, those are really the three things that I'm going to be buying from this. The other ones, I mean, are cool, but again, I don't think they're personally for me. I know they're for some other people and I don't want to knock that down too much. And so let me know down below in the comments, which one are you excited to buy? Which one are you going to plan on getting? I'm planning on, of course, giving multiple copies, at least, of the Jurassic World Secret Lair. So with all that said, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And with that out of the way, thank you for stopping by.